Here we have an example of what a summary would look like when you're summarizing the chapters of a novel, like I've asked you to summarize the first 4 chapters of A Dog's Purpose. So when you go in to write your own summary, you do want to make sure you're in the correct font, Times New Roman, size 12, and that your writing is double-spaced, so it will look just like this. Also make sure you have the correct class heading, which will be your name, my name, our class. You may write a different section number if you're in the 9000 section. And the date written just like this. Day, month, year, no commas. Then we have a title, chapters 1 through 4 summary of The Hobbit, which is the example I'm using for you. So for this particular summary, we've got 4 paragraphs. Each paragraph is summarizing a different chapter. So this first paragraph here is summarizing chapter 1, where it discusses everything that happened in chapter 1 that was important and relevant. The chapter 1 of The Hobbit is actually a fairly long chapter. It has a lot of information in it, but I've stripped it down to just the important parts of it, which you can read when you look at this summary in the rich text document beneath the link to this video. The second paragraph is about the second chapter, where it summarizes what happened. And again, this was a very long chapter with a lot of information and a lot of interesting things going on, but what we want to do is just strip it down to the bare essentials of what you would need to read or know if you hadn't read the chapter yourself. So basically you'd want it to be a substitute. Anyone who couldn't read chapter 2 of The Hobbit or chapter 2 of A Dog's Purpose could read this summary paragraph right here and know exactly what happened, the main points, the main details, without anything unnecessary or extraneous. So this third paragraph is, of course, about chapter 3 of this book, and you notice it's a little bit shorter than the other two, and that's because this chapter was a little bit shorter. But again, it still just takes it down to the bare minimum for what you need to understand what happened in that chapter. And then finally, you have chapter 4 summarized here. And again, it's very brief. There's a lot that goes on in this chapter too, but I've really narrowed it down to what you need to know, so that if you just needed to know briefly what chapter 4 was about and the main points, you could get it from this paragraph. At the bottom here, and this is something I'd like you to do too, is write the source information. Where did this information come from? And this is written in MLA style format for bibliography or works cited. So you see that it has the author's name. The author's last name comes first. Tolkien, comma, J.R.R., period. Then you have the title of the work, and please do notice that the title of the work is in italics. Then a period. Then the city where it was published. This particular version was published in Boston. It has a colon after that. And then this is the publisher of the book, a comma, and then the year of the copyright date, and then a period. And then after that you write what kind of media it is, and mine was a book, so you write print because it was a hardcover book, an actual book in existence. So this is what you'll have at the bottom of yours that I want to see you use as well, but you'll be doing it for A Dog's Purpose, so it'll say the author of A Dog's Purpose, Campbell. It'll say A Dog's Purpose right here, where it was published, who published it, the year it was published, and then I'm assuming the majority of you have copies of the book, so it'll say print at the end. So this is what your summary should look like too, and it should be about a 3/4 of the page or more. You see that mine did go on to a second page, which is fine. And it has the correct class heading and a title. It's Times New Roman, size 12, double spaced.